This is Mechbay, and welcome to another episode of Mechbay Dios. As you can see, I've started a new dio project, and uh, you could kind of see what the figure I'm using right now as a reference. Those two are my Hot Toys 1/6 scale figures, so you guys will have an idea as to how big this dio project that I'm working on right now. Um, so I'm working on a 1/6 scale diorama for a local client. He's actually a store owner, and so I'm building this dio so that he can display this on one of his display case. You know those counter, the glass counter, when you go to the store. So that will fill. This dio will fill that space in his store. And just to give you an idea, I'm just gonna go close in right now. Yeah, this dio is about close to about 3 feet long, and then about 19 inches deep from the front here to the edge, and then this kind of like side of the building, the height there is 20 inches from the bottom of the base to the top of that corner wall. So that's kind of like the dimension of the display glass counter that my client has in his store. And he wanted to be able to display kind of like multiple figures or Hot Toys figures in here, and he actually kind of wanted to have that kind of like Avengers movie look, and he wanted to do kind of like a street scene. And so when I came up with this idea, you know, I, you know, instead of doing a kind of like an elevation, kind of like one, where you have like kind of like the street running along in here, I decided to make it more of like a section. So you're actually seeing the road is actually going straight like that. So you're seeing like a section of it. And so on this side, you could kind of see the sidewalk, right? And then the piece of a building wall. And on the other side, you could kind of see that I have a piece of the sidewalk there as well, right there. But again, this is such a big dio that if there, I mean, the building that side you won't be able to see anymore because that's how big this thing is. And so as you can see, it's like a two-way or two-lane street, and eventually I'm gonna be adding maybe like a middle divider, like a paint stripe in there. I'm still gonna, as I go through this design process, or as I go into designing this dio, I'll probably be adding little things here and there that I probably don't have kind of like planned right now, but again, like I said, so I'll probably put like a divider paint stripe in there, and then maybe another idea that I have is maybe like a crosswalk, a pedestrian striping that will go across further down on that side, the back. As you can see, I kind of started doing a little bit of the detailing, so I'm gonna have some drain inlet in that side of the sidewalk. So I'll be cutting that, making a hole in there, and then add my metal grating to simulate the drain inlet there. And then of course I'll be detailing the road as well. So it's going to be an asphalt slash concrete type pavement road, right? So I'm gonna be adding just a little bit of like dirt in there, but as much as possible, I'm probably gonna try to have some open space so he can put some figures in here. And then at the same time, also, I'll be adding debris stuff in here as well. So right now it's kind of clean, right? But when it's finally done, I'm gonna have multiple um, like concrete rubbles and debris and metal, um, scraps and stuff like that. It's gonna be kind of like all over the road, and I'll probably gonna be throwing in some like newspapers and garbage or something like that on the sides. And then another thing that the client again wanted is that he wants to display the figures, so I'll be adding multiple larger debris that he'll be able to stack up, and so he can so for him to create some sort of like different levels of display possibilities for his figures. So for example, obviously Hulk is a big figure, right? So I mean, he could put him in the back and then maybe have multiple levels of a platform in here, and then you know put the different figures in like different height, varying height, just to create or fill in the glass counter display that he has. And so yeah, so I already started doing that sewer or manhole in there. Yeah, so basically I just add that lettering in there, and then I use one of my square sticks and just you know press it on there just to create that kind of like pattern, and it actually came out looking good, so like that. And then just going in here, again, this one is just a part of a bigger building, because obviously I can't uh, you know do a full-size building in this one because it's not gonna fit. So I decided to just take a section of a building, specifically the side where there's no door, because I don't want to put a door in here because I don't want it to be too busy. um, so I just decided just a wall and some windows. I'm still gonna be adding some detailing at the bottom, maybe like a footing or something, or actually it's not a footing, but like a little like header on the foot of this wall, and then maybe add additional detailing in here just to uh, separate the materials from this part to this part. So because the bottom part is more of like a cinder block type thing, and then the top is concrete. So I want to have some sort of like delineation. So just to have a little more detail on that wall. And I'm still gonna be adding additional like a long block at the bottom of this window just to give more detail on that as well. And obviously that window is supposed to go more way up, but again I'm only cutting it this way, so um, that's what it is for right now. And then I'm also planning to add some sort of accessories in here. So I actually have multiple ideas in mind. I'm thinking of maybe adding like a newspaper dispenser, or mailbox, or fire hydrants, that I could put on the sidewalk right here. Um, and then definitely on this side, I'm planning to put like a light pole that's been cut down. So I'm gonna have it somewhere over here, and then I'm gonna have a pole sticking out that's broken, and and then wires coming out in there, just to add a little bit of detail on this side, because again, you know, this side is kind of like a little heavy on the design part, and this one is just a little piece. So that's the reason why I also added the drain inlet in here instead of that side, because I'm trying to like create interest on both side of this dial. So yeah, so a lot of those accessories that I'll be doing is going to be built from scratch. And again, this is a 1/6 scale, so this is something that bigger than what I normally do. Actually, this is the first 1/6 scale diorama that I'm making, and so it's almost like a learning process for me also, scale wise. But anyway, so this is the first initial stage that I have. This is as far as I come right now. I've been working on this for maybe about, you know, a couple of days, not the whole day, maybe like, you know, 3 or 4 hours a day. So I've, you know, got this far. So hopefully before I paint, I'm gonna come back with another, you know, segment of video to show you the other details that I've done, and have an idea of some of the materials that I end up using for this. Alright, so I'll see you guys on the next segment of this video. And I'm back with the completed diorama for this 1/6 scale Hot Toys street scene dio. As you can see, I included some of my Hot Toys figure in here so that you'll have an idea scale wise of how big this diorama is. And again, this is like, you know, it's big that it doesn't really fit my camera, so I have to pan out and kind of like show you guys. So one thing that you guys notice in here is that I didn't really show any progress shot of my debris on the previous video that I made, but as you can see, they fill up pretty much the entire diorama. So to create that kind of like Avengers like battle scene, and those rubbles or concrete debris are all removable, and you know, you can basically have different look every time you rearrange your this diorama. And as you can see, I added some crosswalk marking in this part of the dio. Also added that street divider striping. Did airbrushing on this building front to give it a little bit more of a distressed look. Finally added this street sign and pole. You guys already seen a previous whip or work in progress of that newspaper dispenser. And then just to put everything together, I throw in like crumpled like newspaper scaled down to this size, and some comics and paper debris along the way, just to create you know, kind of like that you know, dirty look in the street, especially after like a battle scene or something. And you know, this is the light pole that I did. It's been painted. Tried to make it look like you know, as close as possible to the color scheme of like the light pole that you see on the street. You know, so that came out, you know, came out nice. But overall, yeah, you know, I'm pretty I'm happy about this diorama. This is my first 1/6 scale diorama that I did, so you know, it came out pretty good. And again, this is gonna go in a counter display case in a store. So pretty much the dimension of this is specific to that size of counter display case. And again, this diorama is fully collapsible, so this can be taken away. That, you know, it's held up by magnets, and these three pieces right here are also held by magnets. You can see where they are attached, and you can actually separate this and create three different smaller dioramas. You know, basically you just, you know, take part of the debris and kind of like divide it between these two, and then this part right here is basically its own diorama with the building wall and its own accessories already. So I actually took some pictures prior to this one of the individual look of the diorama, so I'll include that at the end of the video. So yeah, you know, I hope this was able to help you guys a little bit in your diorama project, and I'll see you guys next time.